Whoa, it's a beautiful day to do these reactions, man. Like it before you light it, hit the sub before you hit the bud, join the team before you hit the green, and most importantly,
hype me up.
I need them.
Hype me up.
I need them. I need them like a crackhead need a pipe, y'all. Living paycheck to paycheck. Y'all read the title. Let's get into this.
I just paid my rent, right?
Ooh.
And I'm so happy I got my rent paid.
That's a beautiful thing.
But for some reason, I still have an unsettling feeling, and I think it's because I used my whole check to pay my rent.
Yeah, that'll
now
do
I have to go 2 more weeks without money, and my phone bill is due tomorrow.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying here? You see what I'm trying to get at here?
No, I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
That is the true definition of living from paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
Like, I just literally pay bills.
I wonder how much your rent is, though.
I can't do anything else. I can't even buy me a bottle if I wanted to. Like, damn. And I'm trying to figure out, I know how it got like this because it seems like a lot of places have stopped paying their employees. Like, my job doesn't pay me overtime anymore. Like, I literally went from being able to make up to $2,000 to now I can, barely make $1,000. So
they cut her shit in half.
I can make over $1,000. I'm not saying, but it's at the cost of, overworking myself. And I'm not going to keep overworking myself just for a little $1,500, $1,600 check. I'm not doing that.
What's the alternative?
And I'm honestly very baffled at the amount of money that we make for the amount of work that we do.
What do you do?
I still haven't heard back from the other job. They keep telling me I'm still trying to get cleared. And I'm like, how? When I should already be in the system. I literally work for your sister company. But,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I can't even, bask in the moment of knowing that I paid my rent. Because, one, I had to use, 4 different loan apps. That's what I did when I got this apartment. I used loan apps because I was still short from paying the move-in fee and the first month's rent.
Damn.
So I have to wait till my pay bills back up to pay those back. And then when I pay those back, I'm completely broke. I don't have anything behind that. I literally have to wait 14 days for another check, and I will still be broke because I will have to pay back my pay, and I'm about to cut that feature off so I never have to deal with it again. So that's already half of my check gone. And then I have to pay for my afterpays.
Yeah, this is crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And I'm just really sitting here thinking to myself, wow. I'm in shock. I keep thinking people in Asia, they literally pay their rent and still got a bottle to go out and go get some soju and pork belly while I'm sitting up here. I can't even go buy a stick of gum.
Damn. You can find some coins and buy a stick of gum, girl, in the couch.
Insane. And people...
Man, you know what? This is crazy, though, dog. A lot was said in this video, but, to me, I don't know this lady. I don't know how old she is, but it seems like it's a combination of bad policy in the country and also, on her part, bad money management for the most part, bro. I don't know this lady, but, man, she started throwing out these pay loan places and using that in order to get into the apartment and all of that kind of stuff. It's damn, bro. It's sad people gotta, get to that point. Do you have family you could have stayed with while you stacked up? Do people still believe in roommates? You know what I'm saying? I know it's not ideal, but in this economy, man, this is a roommate economy. This is a 2-person household economy, man. It's hard for the average person to get ahead, but doing it by themselves, dog.
It's no way around not living check to check. We all living check to check at this fucking point. Because you want to live in a good neighborhood, right? You don't want to live in the hood. Bills and shit, all this shit is not doing nothing but going up. The average fucking apartment, 1 bedroom is $1,500, $1,600. Especially if you living on your own, that's what make it twice as harder. That's why people always try to go out for like a second source of income. Really just to have some free fucking money. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of fucked up because it's like, okay, let's say you work 2 jobs. You work 2 jobs, you don't have no fucking time to yourself.
Nope.
Because when you away from the first job that you at, you thinking about going to the damn second job. Or you got to get ready to go to that second job.
Yep.
Like, I swear, like, the economy nowadays is like, it's to the point where it's meant for us to struggle. Like, a motherfucker making $25 an hour back in motherfucking 2014, that's goddamn $50 an hour. Now $25 an hour is like $16 an hour.
Facts.
Like, what the fuck? You already got to worry about rent. And then you got to worry about bills outside of your house. Phone bill, car note, and you know it's a law to have insurance. And that ain't even half of the bills that majority of us got. That's why it be so hard to, you know, save money and fucking just maintain a good living at least. I get it. You got to work without looking at the clock, but god damn. It's no way around not living check to check. We all live in check.
Yeah, bro. You know what's crazy though, dog? Everybody living paycheck to paycheck. And when I say everybody, that means most people. And that's a 100% fact. If you do any type of research, you'll find that most Americans don't have no money for an emergency. They don't have savings. They're one paycheck away from being broke. That kind of situation, dog. And then you couple that with bad policy. And then you couple that with inflation, which is caused by bad policy for the most part. And then think about the actual companies. They're crooked. I saw a video not that long ago about how like 3% salary raises is like the holy grail for these companies. They did the calculation is like, if we can just get away with only increasing their shit by 3%, we can make maximum profit and we'll keep them as slaves, basically, because 3% doesn't even hedge against inflation. So you're always going to be behind inflation with only a 3% salary increase. And that is how most companies figure out what they're going to give you is 3%. That is some crazy shit to think about.
When I think about it, I'm not poor, but I live paycheck to paycheck. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I have money, but not like enough. You know what I mean? Because by the time I do have money, it's the next bill. It's the next month. And I have to pay my bills. So I'm low-key poor. I don't know. Whatever.
And you know what's crazy though, dog? In America, poor is different than is poor back in other countries. Like, poor here is like you still have a roof over your head. You have modern day sewerage. You have amenities and all that kind of stuff. Poor in other countries, like you don't have nothing to eat. You're outside on the streets. No health care, none of that shit. That's poor in other countries, dog. Here, you still get to say I'm poor while living in a safe neighborhood. You just don't have money to go and buy all of the expensive luxuries of life.
Have you ever heard the saying, living paycheck to paycheck? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me put it in perspective for you. I had $1.83 in my bank. I just swiped credit at the gas pump so I could get $10 for gas because I was on E, my friend. And hopefully in 2 business days, I get that $10 back in my account because my bank does not play, man. They charged me $40 in overdraft fees because I was overdrafted 7 pennies. I ain't even
what?
Play. Banks do not mess around
Banks
with their
don't play.
money, even if it's 7 pennies. So, all that to say, please hit all these buttons so I can get TikTok paid and get my $10. Love you, bye.
Yo, do y'all know how much overdraft fees accounts for like profit with these banks? Banks have figured out how to make money hand over fist without having to make their own money. It's a real sweet deal for them if you think about it. We go and make our deposits and then they make money off of our money. That is an interesting concept right there. Watch this though. How much do banks make with fees like overdraft? Basically, things that inconvenience the customer in America. Short answer, banks make billions every year off of inconvenience fees like overdraft, late fees, ATM fees, etc. But overdraft is one of the biggest and most controversial. Here's the real big breakdown in simple terms. How much banks make from overdraft fees? Roughly $5.8 billion in 2023 from overdraft plus NSF fees. Nigga, that's crazy. down from 12 to 15 billion in 2019, still roughly 8 billion a year depending on how it's measured. That is crazy. JP Morgan Chase about 1.1 billion, Wells Fargo 900 million plus, Bank of America, used to be Bank of Italy, fun fact, dropped a lot but still hundreds of millions. Top 3 banks combined 2.2 billion of stolen money. And it's an interesting thing to think about, because here's the thing. The banks only have money because us, the consumer and customer, gives it to them. And then they leverage that money to get rich, make money hand over fist. It is really crazy to me, dog. Think about that. And then not only that, they're not even required to have any reserves anymore. Watch this. According to the Federal Reserve, how much money does a bank technically have to keep after I make a deposit, percentage wise? All right, today the Federal Reserve requirement ratio is 0%, so banks are not legally required to keep any fixed percentage of your new deposit in reserve. Historically, people were taught that banks had to hold around 10% of certain deposits and 0 or 3% for others under Regulation D. But in March of 2020, the Fed permanently reduced all these reserve ratios to 0. Since then, the Fed has kept the formal reserve requirement at 0 instead of manages. Guys, that means that they are 100% leveraged for the most part, and anything goes wrong, we the one that's gonna get messed over, and they're gonna bail the banks out. That's just how that goes. They don't look out for us, they look out for them.
Am I the only one who feels like I will never stop living paycheck to paycheck? The economy we live in is trash. The jobs we work for are trash. They pay you the bare minimum but want you to show up and give your 110%. How does that work? These houses, they want you to pay $1,000+ for rent, and they're 1980 houses. You gotta have a deposit, last month's rent, first month's rent. Like, why do I need to pay last month's rent? I don't understand that.
It's all about managing risk. These companies have figured out how to squeeze every ounce of juice out of the consumer and customer so that they can have the least amount of risk on their part. It's all about maximizing profit. How can we ensure that we don't lose any money or very little? That's what it's all about. And these mechanisms keep them in the green. They start out in the green on you. You know, they just had to clean the apartment out from the last people. So they're going to cover that cost by making you pay that deposit in the first month rent and that kind of shit. And they also want to make sure that you're the type of person that can pay on time by making you have to make 5-7 times the rent in salary, which is crazy to me.
Car insurance, car payments, they're rip-offs. Why am I paying $300 for car insurance? I don't understand. Health insurance, skyrocket. Food, skyrocket. Like, I just don't understand how I will ever be able to afford to wake up and go hop on a plane and enjoy my best life.
Good luck with that.
I just don't understand. By the time my kids get to adulthood, they're gonna have to pay to open the door to walk out of their own house.
Nigga.
I really, really, really rather be a cockroach crawling on the ground for free
To get squished?
than have to live this life every day. Like, I can't be the only one who feels this way. Like, I need to know, y'all that get to wake up and take trips and go across country and do $100 shopping sprees at Target every single day. What are you doing? What's the secret to life?
They selling coochie.
What is the secret recipe that you have that we don't have?
And
Let us
scamming.
know.
Yeah, man, that's the state of the economy right there, though, dog. And it's only getting worse. I'm sorry to be gloomy and all that kind of stuff, but man, if you're paying attention to what's happening around the world, bro, geopolitically, dog, shit ain't looking good out here, man. It's like they're all in to get us all, and everything that they're doing to fuel whatever they got going, trying to make money, trying to be authoritarian, trying to be anti-socialist, whatever they're trying to do, it really ain't gonna help us. It's only helping them. All these politicians are getting ridiculously more wealthy while us people, the common folk, are struggling and fighting over scraps.
60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof.
Yep.
Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country. And of course, grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments.
Yep.
We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself. 60% of the Americans.
Now, look, I want y'all to pay attention to this video right here, dog. This is the shit that pisses me off. Watch this.
Recognize that the likelihood that this video is going to do anything is extremely low, but this is my olive branch to Republicans, and I am pleading with you to try and do something right now to avoid the cost of everything in this country spiraling out of control, to avoid pushing us into stagflation, and to avoid pushing us into a serious recession. In the past few days, Iran has actually allowed a certain number of oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, but only the oil tankers that are headed to China.
Now, China's getting their oil.
Is this, you might be asking? That is because 90% of the oil exports from Iran go to China. This makes total sense for Iran, and China, of course, is not going to get involved in this war and say, we reject this oil coming from Iran. That would be stupid of them. Yep. But today, the wild card is that Iran has announced that they may start permitting oil tankers headed to India to pass.
Nigga. To India, bro.
Through the Strait of Hormuz. Russia is the #1 supplier of oil to India, but the amount of oil that Russia has been exporting to India has been decreasing over the course of the past 7 months. Why? That is because of tariff trade agreements between India and the US, where India agreed to start reducing their consumption and importing of Russian oil. Half of India's oil imports come through the Strait of Hormuz, but who is the #1 supplier of that oil? Iraq. Now, Iraq has declared neutrality in this war, and a lot of that is because they have pro-Iranian militia who is basically fighting Israel right now. And the Iraqi government has been trying to get control of this, but they are starting to lose control, and Iran, who is actually playing 4D chess, just made it harder for them by allowing their exports to go through the strait to India. Now, why am I pleading to Republicans to pay attention to this? Barrel of oil costs have gotten up to $100 again today, and I'm going to explain why this matters to you. Everything that we manufacture and everything that we consume requires oil, and it hits all stages of the manufacturing supply chain. If the global market is cut off from their oil supply, that is going to make the demand for oil much higher, which is why the price of oil is spiking right now. If the price of crude oil goes up, it doesn't just impact certain stages of the supply chain. It impacts almost all of them, which means that inflation could spike out of control. I am pleading with you, if you do not want to see the cost of almost everything in this country going up, to call your Republican congressperson or senator and demand that they re-look at the Executive War Powers Act. And here is the X factor. If corporations start raising prices, they are never going to push them back down again. So unless you think that your employer is going to give you a 15 to 20% raise to combat this, you should care about this.
Yeah, bro. They're definitely not gonna give you a 15 to 20% raise. It's 3% at best, because that's what they want to average it out, because they're gonna give everybody raises for the most part. But it's 3%, dog, which is never gonna beat inflation.
I am 48 years old and I am broke. When I say broke, I mean $0 broke, no money. And I am burnt out to the core, and I'm done living like this. I have worked in group homes and nonprofits for over 25 years now. I've poured my heart into my job, gave it everything I got, but I'm burnt out. I don't have any more to give. Between rising costs, bills, broken appliances, I hit my breaking point. I knew I had to try something different. If you're at your breaking point...
Yeah, bro. Shit is crazy, dog.
I just had someone DM me saying, how can you be so broke when you're doing TikTok and your fiance work? We are living paycheck to paycheck. I literally just sat down and did our budget. For
now, guys, I've been showing y'all a whole lot of single people and things of that nature. She has a man, and they're still broke. They're struggling together, and you trying to do it all by yourself.
September. Okay, and mind you, this TikTok is not monetized. Like, I don't get paid for nothing. It's just fun for me to post. And no, this is not me begging anyone for money, because people are like, all you do is talk about money and you just want people to send you money. I am sending my message out there because I know people can relate. And this is the reality of living paycheck to paycheck, balling on a very tight budget and things we have to do. Because yes, people are really out here broke. We're broke. After his paycheck, regardless. Rant over. Less than $100. Which is totally fine. We can make it work. I know we can make it work. We have plenty of food in the house. The kids have plenty of diapers and wipes. We've got soap. Luckily, most of our bills come out his second paycheck. Which, if you see the trend, the second paycheck will be... It's reality. It is what it is. You just gotta stay positive. That is why I'm doing the whole marketplace challenge. And, like, it's just gonna give us a little wiggle room, you know? Am I stressed? Not really. Should I be stressed? Probably. But I'm so used to it, like, it's fine. If you can relate, comment, because there's people out there that think I'm just like bluffing this whole thing. Paycheck to paycheck living is a serious thing. About 77% of the people in the United States are paycheck to paycheck living. Yeah.
Y'all know what 77% means? That means majority. That means most. That is a crazy number, bro.
We were never supposed to see this much money on our paychecks. We were never supposed to see this much money being paid to us at a time. And you probably wondering to yourself, what money are you talking about? Because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm broke. That's the point that I'm trying to drive. You can't tell me that you don't remember making $7 an hour and everything being cool. And that was low end. If somebody was like, well, come to my job, they paying a little bit more, and that little bit more being $9.50, you would have jumped out of your seat. If you were lucky, you made $10 an hour and you had a significant amount of money in your pocket left over after you paid your bills. And don't get me started on $15 an hour. When you were making $10 an hour, you didn't know 3 people who made $15 an hour.
Facts.
And now $15 an hour is entry to regular jobs.
Facts.
And that can't cover anything. Ask anybody who's been working before 2015. $15 an hour. You were the man.
The man.
You were that deal. You were the baller shot caller. And now $15 an hour is a joke. $20 an hour is barely enough. I couldn't fathom.
I really used to hear people bragging, women, man, my man make $20 an hour. I don't, you get what I'm saying, boy? That 20 ain't shit today, boy.
Starting my first job and understanding that people are out here making $20 an hour. My first job, I was making $7.40.
My first job, I don't even remember.
And that was because I was a minor.
Wendy's.
Everybody else made $8.15. And that was normal. We were never supposed to.
Yeah, bro, I worked at Wendy's when I was 16 years old, dog. And I really don't remember how much I made, but man, that was in the early 2000s, bro. Yeah, man. Shit. Your boy getting up there in age, man. I want to do something real quick. I'm trying to do a little bit of investigative journalism. I need to know what was the median salary in 2006 and what was the median rent in 2006. Then I need you to contrast that, compare it with median salary 2026 and the median rent in 2026. You got more bang for your buck back in 2006, bro. All right, guys. For the U.S. as a whole, median income has risen much faster than rent in dollars, but rent has eaten up more of the typical paycheck than in 2006. See what I said? You get more bang for your buck 20 years ago. 2006, median household income about $48,200. It's not that far from that now. Median average monthly rent about $760 to $780, which is coming from the census-based reporting. 2026, let's look into that because this is interesting. Median household income in 2026, not published yet, but if we, look at last year's data or the year before, it's telling us 83,000 from census. So 2026 median will likely be somewhat higher, but is unknown as of early 2026. This is crazy. Average monthly rent, though, is $1,698 nationally. The same source estimates median rent of at least $1,402. So in rough terms, from 2006 to the mid-2020s, median household income rose from about $48K to the low mid $80K range. Typical month rent rose from the high 700s to somewhere around 1.4 to 1.7. How the burden changed. 2006, a household at the median making about $48,000 a year and paying about $770 in rent would spend roughly 19% of gross income on rent. which is crazy. Now, a household around today's median using $83,000 for the 2024 as a proxy, paying around $1,400 to $1,700 in rent, spends roughly 20 to 24% of gross income on rent. Yeah, that's... You see what I'm saying? It's a reason why you got more month at the end of your paycheck than you got paycheck at the end of the month. This is why, bro. They are fucking over us, man. Real talk, man. But listen, dog, I hope y'all learned something. I hope that y'all are being diligent and making sure that you keep you and yours straight, dog. Because ain't nobody coming to save you. I promise you that, dog. And don't forget to...
Hype me up. Hype me up. Hype me up.
Need it like a crackhead, need a pipe. I'm going to get at y'all on the next one.